You might be a faux-tog if. Just because you do something doesn't mean you're a professional at it. Most people understand and accept this. Then there are those who believe that the right tools or equipment can make them just as good as the best in the business. I'm not saying these people can't achieve those things. I'm saying the level of accomplishment takes expertise and practice. I think it's important that anybody who would like to hire a professional photographer understand what to look for, so they don't get stuck with a self-proclaimed faux-tographer who charges money but lacks the professional skills to really supply you with quality photographs. What have you got to lose? In some cases, it's just treasured memories at a wedding or other important event that isn't captured. In some cases, it can actually be dangerous to hire a photographer. I'll help you learn what to look for, and hopefully next time you hire a professional, they really are one. You might be a faux-tog if your prices can only go up. Typically, you get what you pay for when it comes to photographers. If somebody's offering a $50 session with no extra cost for images, it's not possible for them to be supporting a full business. Low prices can be the first warning sign, but beware, there are people out there with no experience who still charge thousands. Instead, professional photographers do charge what seem like high rates for sessions and prints, but they're supporting a true business with rent, camera, editing equipment, and lots of time involved. The average professional spends about 6 to 10 hours per client for every hour of shooting time. That plus their expertise is what you're paying for. You might be a photog if you hand out CDs like it's Christmas. It's what everyone wants, a CD with all their photos on it, so they can go print images themselves. It's a great in theory, but someone's willing to charge just a few bucks and include the whole CD, most likely they're not taking the time to edit those photos. Real photographers take time to edit photos, and it's part of their art, so they want to display them proudly for you. That's why they take the time to go through and have you select a few before selling them to you. You might be a photog if your photos make Susie cry because it looks like Grandma's gone to heaven. Even if the photog takes time to edit their images, they often don't understand or have any regard for things like skin tone or realism. This person looks like they've gone to heaven, and this kid over here looks like they have a severe rash. I don't think that's good. Instead, professional photographers spend as much or more time editing photos, so you can see what happens when it looks like they're magical. They don't come always straight out of the camera that way. It takes a little photoshopping, but not literally photoshopping in pixie dust. You might be a photog if you think owning Air Jordans mean you're ready to play for the NBA. Here's an important bit of information. Just because somebody owns a DSLR doesn't mean that their fancy camera is going to make them a professional photographer. Just like those Air Jordan shoes aren't going to help you jump as high as Michael Jordan. You still have to have skills. Instead, professional photographers have to start out somewhere, sure, but it takes years to build up that experience, and that's the difference between photogs and professionals. Professionals recognize that they always have more room to grow, and they're always searching for the next way to improve themselves and make improvements. You might be a photog if all the vampires in the room disintegrate when you take a picture. Nobody likes to get flashed in the face, especially people like vampires who disintegrate in sunlight. It might light up a scene, but typically light that isn't bounced or diffused in some way makes for unprofessional photos. It's especially bad if the only flash is a pop-up one. Professional photographers are pretty obsessed with light, whether it's studio lighting, outdoor lighting, or flash. Knowing how to manipulate light is what can take an okay picture, or even a good picture, and make it a great one. You might be a photog if you hang babies from trees. This just isn't safe. Here's where the danger of using a photog comes in. Often photogs will try to copy professionals, and without knowing any better, they'll try to replicate their images. Unfortunately, this can be very dangerous for little babies left to hang free or precariously propped. Professional photographers actually use multiple images to achieve those adorable but somewhat perilous poses. They make sure the baby is being held safely at all times and then use Photoshop to combine the images. You can see the behind-the-scenes look here. might be a photog if you think backup is what you do when you run across a skunk in the woods. Yeah, not so good. Professional photographers make sure that they have plenty of backup, whether it's an extra camera, an extra memory card, or even on their computer and their hard drives, they've got backup all the time. You risk losing all your memories if you don't have professional. You might be a photog if you print your pictures at the same place you get your prescriptions filled. It's true, you can use a 1-hour Photoshop, but it's just not always the same. Professional photographers actually use professional printers. And just like professional photographers, professional printers have taken years to learn their craft. And they've perfected it. Joe Schmo at Walgreens probably hasn't reached quite the same height as a pro printer. In summary, the way to avoid a faux-tog is to ask them about their experience, about their pricing, their gear, and then finally look at their photos. See if it has those telltale signs of direct flash or over-editing. Make sure you get a good one.